Hello, it's so good to be with you. And I just want to ask you a simple question. Are you someone that gets frustrated about where your business is? When I ask that, do you find that you are starting, then you're stopping, or that you're starting again? And this doesn't have to be just your business. If you're working within a company, that same question could truly apply, right? And so I want to share with you three topics tonight to really help you be more consistent with your business or with your company so that you are in a spot to get those daily results that you're looking for. Because trust me, I've been there before. I walked that walk. It was no fun. So I don't want you to have to repeat that same mistake that I made. So when I look at this, if you were coming to me and asking me as a leader, what does this look like and why am I so frustrated? And we're going to piggyback off some of what was discussed on Facebook Live last night. Okay. Now, the first things first, look at your schedule. Are you setting business hours? The bank does not stay open longer just because you got there 5 to 10 minutes late to do a transaction, right? So why should you? If you expect your team or the people that you're working with to produce results, to produce fruit, however that looks like, maybe it's a deadline or some sort of assignment, or maybe it's just the daily habits that are being practiced, right? Then you need to model those things yourself. So, are you doing income producing activities? Well, income producing activities look like contacting new exposures. There are so many ways to produce new exposures. For one, you could be joining groups. Let's say that you're interested in a particular topic or you're looking for a particular item. You could start striking up conversations that way. Take time to see what those groups look like. Are they posting in a way that you find yourself being able to relate to them? So that's one way. Okay. Another way is engaging those friends that you already know, or maybe family members that you already know, right? That's a great way to build exposure. And be intentional. Don't just surprise them when you're contacting them. You really want to make sure that you're engaging in communication, that you're letting them know, like, hey, I really want to catch up with you. However, this is the reason that I'm reaching out to you, and start sharing about your opportunity or your company if you're looking to hire, or whatever that looks like. Let them know the reason why you are actually connecting with them. So you're upfront, you're not looking like you're hiding anything. Okay, first things first. If you are looking at contacting people you know, did you make your list? Okay, first and foremost. Now, I'm going to tell you at least 50 names, but somebody else may tell you 50, 75, 100, 250 names, whatever that looks like. Okay? Now, once you go through those names, if you are not adding names, then you are not in business for yourself. You are not doing yourself a service. You're actually disservicing yourself and you're disservicing others because you're making prejudged assumptions that they don't want to be involved with what it is that you are wishing to talk with them about. Okay? Don't do that. Okay? Contact those people. I encourage you to contact those people that you know, that you love and you care about, because the point is you want to share. Now, If they say no, remember from last night, no does not mean no forever. Okay? No means that they have yet to engage. Remember, the average person needs at least 6 to 7 exposures before they further look at something or say yes. It may take even more exposures than that. So the point is, you want to get really good at inviting. How often do you invite somebody to a presentation? I'm going to share with you, you should be adding new names daily, and you should be inviting them to some sort of exposure. And that could be something within your company. So maybe they're looking at a video. Maybe you're sending them some information on a clip that was filmed that was on the website. Okay? You're always looking for ways to invite them. If there's something, I know we're not doing things locally, but let's say that you're doing something virtually. A lot of companies are starting to go virtual, and you can have interviews. There's so many things you could do virtually, right? We're finding that out. All right? StreamYard is a new and great tool for this. So that's also a possibility. So you want to make sure that you're finding reasons and ways to invite people. You want to keep them involved and engaged and find out what they're looking for. What are their needs? Did you learn about their family? Did you learn about their occupation? Did you learn about what they like to do recreationally? And did you deliver your message? Are you identifying strengths, interests, goals, and needs? And if you're not writing this down, grab a pen and paper. I want you to start taking some notes because I want to get through to you about this. This is so important. And these simple little tweaks, it's not that you're doing necessarily anything wrong other than the fact that we've identified that you haven't been consistent, perhaps. Okay? So my goal is to take you from maybe being in a spot that's not as consistent to being in a spot that's a little perhaps more consistent, that's able to create those daily results that you're looking for. Okay? So you need to be inviting them. And once you've identified what they're looking for, if you've got a group, let's say on Facebook or Instagram, or let's say that you have an email server that sends out emails on a weekly basis, my goodness, jump on it. Continue to invite them. Don't wait 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks and then don't actively engage them. Okay? You want to continue to plug your contacts in front of something always, 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 because you want to find ways to drip on them. That doesn't mean every day you're hand holding them, but it means that you're engaging them in something. Okay? And when you're not engaging them personally, you could be having that group drip on them and share results or share testimonies or, share the results. Okay? That's what it's there for. Allow systems to help you leverage. Okay? Because you as an individual, you may not be duplicatable, but systems, they're always duplicatable, right? So you want to stay connected in that way. All right? And then the next thing that you want to look at is, are you checking your emails? Are you listening to the advice from your teammates? Okay? Let me point out a couple of things to you. Okay? Are you somebody that is contacting your leadership for mentoring? Are you letting them know when you're having a difficulty, when you need assistance? Maybe you need to get third-party validation. Always, always, always make sure you're validating a third-party source. It makes you look so much more reputable, and it takes the pressure off of you having to be the expert on everything, okay? Yes, you want to be an expert to a degree in what you do. You want to share from your heart. You want to be genuine. You want to be authentic, okay? But some people might be skeptical or hesitant on connecting with you on a live presentation or even hearing about your opportunity without that third-party validation. Always edify a bigger source and plug them in, whether that's a leader, a presentation, someone who's the special founder. Like in our company, Phil Knight is someone that we partner with, okay? So I can share that when I share the opportunity in my company that I have available, okay? And this is not to recruit you just to my company, but I'm sharing this tool because it's been really helpful when I've gone out and made new exposures and new connections, because if you're not sharing your opportunity, you're losing money, you're losing time. And I'm sorry, but checking your email is not a really good productive use of your time. And that might be why you're frustrated, or maybe you're all over the map. And so you're not able to share the way that you want to share, because when you say that you're connecting with somebody, okay, are you 5 minutes late because your kid did something? Okay. Every leader struggles in some sort of capacity, but it's how they get back up that makes a huge difference. Okay. Your leadership is there for you. It does not mean that they do not have fault. It does not mean that they are not struggling with something themselves. Okay. But what I'm sharing with you is you need to really use your leadership to help you out. Edify your leaders when you connect. Contact them, but don't blame them when you are not succeeding. Because when it comes down to it, they are not responsible. And don't come to them to dump all of your issues and all of your problems on them, because they're not there for that either. Okay? It's okay to share a concern that you have. It's okay to vent because you had a rough day. But find a way to flip that and use that to be more productive with your time. Take that as a means and a ways to see what needs to be tweaked. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. So I want you to change your mindset that you're doing things that are wrong to just making simple tweaks over time that will propel and accelerate you to a new level, right? Because you want to be attractive. Okay? You don't want to attract people in your business, in your company, that whine, murmur, and complain and don't get to work. So what are you doing that can help your team? If you're not doing a new exposure, if you're not joining a group, we talked last night that Instagram and let's say YouTube are great ways to build and attract audience and viewers and have people reach out to you that are looking at your company or your service or your product on some sort of level or way, right? So we need to find ways to get in front of them. So if you're not doing new exposures, and let's say that you're not doing a Facebook Live, or you're not going on Instagram and doing a video and then uploading that to Facebook, or you're not using StreamYard, what can you be doing to make yourself stand out? Because the bottom line is people want to do business with people that they trust. So the more that you find ways to engage with your audience and identify who your audience is and how you can help them, and you continue to bring value, what does that do? Well, let me share with you. That allows belief to happen. And when belief happens, people tend to do business with you. Why? Because you're a trusted source. And even if they don't do business right away, that doesn't mean in the future they won't want to. Or they may be a high referral source. They may send people your way. Maybe it's not for them, but they can think of 20 different people that they want to put in front of you. Go for it. Continue to bring that solid value each and every week. And you really need to be going live at least 3 times a week, maybe even more than that, okay? But make sure that whatever you do, that you really spend time preparing, because you want to be able to apply what it is that you're sharing. You don't want to go live and not know what it is that you're going to share or talk about or anything like that. So you want to have some level of preparation. But what can you be doing to service your team in the meantime? Because when it comes to a company or a business, you know, the CEO doesn't build a company just because, you know, he does it all or she does it all, him or herself, right? They build it because they have other people, other team members that are partnering and working alongside of them to make things happen, right? And so, what are you doing to help leverage your team? Are you plugging them consistently into training? In other words, even if they start a product with you, are you still inviting them to train? Do you have a training process implemented and put in place? Okay. Or are you picking and choosing what you put in front of them and you don't want to do that? Take them through the same simple system that you went through. Okay. And even if your leader wasn't the best leader, don't blame leadership. Okay. Because the truth is, if you went on the company website, you know, most companies, most businesses, they have all sorts of training videos that you can be plugging into, right? They probably have a weekly live presentation that's going on, okay? They have information on their website that shares how you can be plugging in. They probably have steps to take if you are brand new, like let's say tutorials, okay? So really access those tutorials. If your leader is not available, don't say, oh, I can't connect my prospect or my potential client because my leader isn't available. No, you can still plug them in. You want to know how? Take them through the presentation anyway. Okay? Use tutorials and training to leverage what your leader is not available for at that moment. Then you need to meet other leaders who have the results that you're looking for. Okay? Most teams have at least several leaders. Okay? Did you reach out to all of your leaders when you had someone available? Okay, that you wanted them to meet. Let's say you wanted that third-party validation, right? Let's say they've been to a presentation and you're now connecting them because you want them to meet your leader. They're excited. They want to know, oh my goodness, especially if you edify right, like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting the CEO, I'm meeting this person or that person. This is incredible. Okay, this is huge, right? And so make sure that when that happens, okay, that you are starting to make connections because your leader may be helping somebody else, but you can still tap into the other leadership that's available. I can't tell you how many times I had to do that when I had somebody that I needed to connect and my leader didn't get back to me right away. And so I asked myself, who else is available? Okay. And while my person was watching the presentation, I pulled another leader that I had contact information for and said, hey, can you help me out? Okay. They were able to help me. And that person was able to get started. And the next question becomes, are you plugging them in to the business side of things? Maybe they didn't say, yes, this opportunity is for me. So you're plugging them in to retrieve additional information. Okay. When that happens and you're plugging them into that additional information, okay, make sure you show it to them. Even if they tell you, no, the company is not for me. Hey, I know you said this, but I still want you to take a look at it. And you can edify the training. If not a leader, edify the training. Okay? Take them through it anyway. Just because they didn't say yes today doesn't mean that they won't say yes in the future. And maybe some of them you do have to take them through using your product or your service first. Maybe that's the whole point. You take them through that part of the process. You have them get started on the product, right? Because nothing beats having experience, right? So you want to make sure that they're experiencing the product for themselves, because why are you building something or joining a company that you are not a believer of its products or services, or that you're not utilizing them, right? Because that's the next question that somebody's going to have. Well, what has your experience and benefits been with using, XYZ product or XYZ service, right? Well, if you've never used the product or you've never been a part of that service, you may or may not know. And so you need to really make sure that you are plugging them in that way. Okay? Make sure that they're using it. And you better believe, if your company offers, like in our company, we can actually offer samples. Okay? And we have an app that we can actually plug them into. They can order those samples themselves and have them sent to themselves. And our leadership said, hey, plug in and send those samples to yourself, because you need to be a believer in what it is that we do, right? And it's so true, right? So why not just have the product sent to yourself so you can see how it's packaged, so you can see how aesthetically pleasing it is, so you can experience the product for yourself. And when you reach out to that person, you're like, okay, it's another way to expose, so why not, right? Say, hey, I know you're unsure. However, we can make sure that you get samples sent to you. All you have to do is, I'm going to send you a link, click on that link, fill out your information, and all you have to do is pay the shipping and the samples are sent to you. How awesome is that, right? So they don't have any high level of investment at all, okay? But what you've just done is given them a hand up, and they could try out and test what it is that you have available. I guarantee you, if the product is really good and the service is really good and they get some sort of benefit out of it right in front of their face, or if, let's say, you may not be able to be necessarily in person, face to face, okay? I'm talking virtually, okay? You could still say, hey, let's connect on Zoom real quick, or, hey, let's connect on Facebook Live, and I want to see the samples that you got. How are those coming along? Or you better believe once they've tasted it or they have that in their hand, make sure they use the sample so they know what the experience is like. That's really important, okay? Your follow-up is what's going to get you wins, but you have to be consistent in how you follow up. And that goes back to topic 1. You need to look at the schedule and see, okay? Do you have specific set times, either 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week at certain times? I'm not talking 1 o'clock this day, 2 o'clock the following day, 6 o'clock the following day. No, I'm talking about from this window to this window, from 1 to 2 or 2 to 4, or whatever that looks like for you daily, okay? Maybe that's the time that you spend following up and connecting with people. And that's the perfect opportunity. Hey, so-and-so, did you get your samples yet? What was your experience like? Can you tell me more about that? What do you think? How are you liking the product? Okay. Then if they haven't gone to the presentation, you could plug them back into the presentation. Or maybe right then and there, you can get your leader on the call. Let's say they saw a presentation. Or maybe you could bring somebody else on. Maybe it takes a few times of talking to people, because it's not enough just to hear from you. They need to hear from the other experts. They already know you're great. They want to hear how the other experts feel, right? And so that's so key and it's so important. And you got to be consistent with it. Because, yeah, if you took somebody through the new exposure, yes, you did something awesome. But at the same time, if there was no follow through, guess what? Your exposure is 10 times more likely to blow you off in the future because you weren't consistent. Remember, your person wants to see how consistent you are at showing up before they begin to show up. So if you're making new exposures, let's say that you're making appointments on your calendar, you're getting frustrated because things didn't go my way. Well, how consistent were you? Okay? Because if you don't show up, guess what? Your appointments aren't going to show up. Guess what? People aren't going to show up for your presentation. Guess what? People aren't going to get started because why? You weren't consistent in showing up on your Facebook Live. And believe me, I just got nailed on this today. Okay? Trust me. I'm not perfect about this either, but that's why I'm sharing it, because it's so good, right? How can I not share something that's going to help you in the future and bring you some sort of value? Okay? It applies to me too. Not just you, it applies to me. Okay? I'm sharing these because these are real experiences and challenges that I either walked out myself, or they're challenges that I'm currently still walking out, and I'm learning how to be the best version of me that I could possibly be. I'm just being real. I own, my mistakes and where I made my fumbles. Okay? And that's the first step. You got to recognize that everybody has shortcomings, including yourself. Okay? Even leaders, even your leaders. All right? That doesn't make them a bad leader. Okay? We all have our strengths and weaknesses. All right? As leaders. I believe that people can see through that, and they can see your heart. They can see how genuine you are, or if you care about them, or if you're really giving it your best to show up and show off every day. Okay? People do see that. All right? They see you because they'll know whether or not you were live with them. Okay? They'll know maybe they're looking for certain things, right? They see how often you post on your social media. They see how you respond to people on your social media. Okay? And then maybe they see, oh, wow, she has these great content, or he posted this, and this is really cool. And if they see that you're really consistent, that at 2 o'clock every day you post this, or 3 o'clock every day you're going to post a really important article, and then, maybe at this time, at least a few times a week, you're showing up every day at 4 o'clock to do your Facebook Live, and they see that consistently, they're going to want to start plugging into you. They're going to be like, Oh, snap, it's 4 o'clock, time to plug in, right? I wonder what the topic's going to be about today. I'm so excited, right? They're looking to hear from you because what you have to say has brought them some sort of value. And you continue to show up and bring them that value. So they want to stay plugged into you. This is really important. So you also want to realize that you're not in this process alone. Okay. And the more that you help your team to plug into training and to be consistent with you, and you model that, you guide them through the training process. Okay. Hey, listen, even my leadership encouraged me to start jumping on presentations. They're like, it's important you know how to do presentations. It's important that you know this sort of information. Okay. You need to show up like you're a professional. And that's my last point. Really make sure that you're showing up professionally. Okay. I know sometimes people can't see you, and it is easy to put on your pajamas and want to relax, hang out, right? But that's not showing up as a professional in your business. Okay. When I see professional, let me ask you, what does consistent and professional look like to you? Okay. Does professional show up in a way that makes and attracts others? If you were looking at the mirror, are you sure? Wearing nice jeans, or maybe you have leggings that are comfortable, or maybe you like wearing khakis or something, right? It could be a polo shirt. It could be just a nice, simple dress shirt or a sweater. Okay. If you're, female and you wear makeup, did you put on your makeup? Did you do your hair? These are things that people like to look at. They want to know that the person that they're working with is showing up as a professional. Okay? So you really want to make sure that you're modeling that. Showing up as a professional is really important. And are you, as a professional, when you show up to a presentation, or maybe you're not even live, okay? But let's say that you're on a phone call, okay? Maybe you're watching from your computer. Did you show up with pen and paper in hand to take notes? Did you, if they said that you could send a question in, did you send a question in? Okay? You're leading by example when you do that. And even if you think you know the answers or you understand the topic inside and out, show up anyway. Okay? Because what you model to your team, if they hop on and they're like, where's my leader at? They're not likely to plug in. Why? Because you weren't there. So why should they be there? Okay? So you have to start showing up in your life and make the decision, make the commitment. Are you committed to showing up? Because here's what happens. If you take off quickly, okay, and let's say your company is expanding nationally or even globally, right? But you're not there all the way. Your team is counting on you to help them to really take off, right? But where are you? See what I mean? They're edifying and validating you, but you were not there. Uh-oh. That's a problem. That's a consistency issue. So you have to find out why it is that you're not showing up, okay? And fix that. Work at it. Do you have a fear of success? Do you have a fear of failure? Did something happen to you at a prior company and you're afraid to assume or take the risk? What needs to change in you so that you can show up the best version of you? I promise you, speak life over yourself. Speak life over your business. Who is the person that you're looking for? Who do you want to connect with? What do they look like? How do they show up? What are they looking to change themselves? Do you see yourself working with them? They may not be all the qualities that you're looking for. But are they teachable? Are they coachable? Do they have a heart to serve? Are they punctual? Are you being punctual for them? Start asking yourself these questions. In fact, I challenge you to write down the qualities that you're looking for in the person that you desire to work with. I promise they are out there. And when you are making and finding ways to make those new exposures, okay, keep these questions in mind. Refer back to them. Oh, yeah. You know why? Because it creates a visual in front of you. In fact, if you're not speaking life of yourself, that's the next step. I want you to write down all the reasons why you got started. Okay? And I want you to look at what your life would really like if you were consistent in showing up. Where would you be? And start writing declarations that you can say out loud daily. You need to feed your business life, your company life, because you know why? Because it changes this. It clears the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of what others think. It takes that out of the equation. Why? Because you're feeding your mindset life. You're saying, yes, yes, I have value. Yes, this company, this business, they're worth it. It's worth my time. It's worth me being punctual. It's worth me really caring about my business and caring about other people and serving them with a full heart of praise. Okay? Your attitude is going to determine your altitude and whether or not you go up or not at all. This is super key and important. I really hope that you saw the value of tonight. I wasn't even going to go this long, but my heart is just so for you. I mean, if you only knew just how much I truly want you to be consistent and show up so that you could receive the daily results you're looking for. Isn't it worth it? And if you're just jumping on, please do yourself the service and go back and watch it again, because this was powerful. It was packed with nuggets. It had tons of information. And it has information in it that can help you with those tweaks, that fills the gaps in the information that you may be missing. So do yourself a favor, please go back and watch from the beginning. Really, seriously. Take the time. And if you don't have it right this second, that's okay too, but put it on a list for something that you need to replay. Okay? The other thing that I want you to do, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave my information in the comments section. There are a couple ways that you can stay in touch with me if you are just really struggling with connecting, okay? There's something that's inconsistent in you that you want to change, okay? If there's something that is keeping you from being consistent, I want to know about that. I want to know how I can lock arms and partner with you and help you with that, all right? So what I want you to do is if you're struggling in these areas, I want to meet with you. It's totally free, no hidden agenda, nothing like that. I just want to be able to help you through the roadblocks, okay? But I won't know unless you reach out to me. So there are two ways to get in touch with me. First is Facebook, okay? I want you to message me. Listen, even if we are not friends on Facebook, I do check my others folder daily. So I want you to send me a message there, even if we don't know each other, and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm wanting to increase my numbers here. Here's where I see that I'm inconsistent. How can I become more consistent? Okay, that's just an example, right? There are plenty of ways that you could be more consistent. So let's lock arms and partner together so we can get you through that hump, all right? The other way is to send me an email. Same thing, introduce yourself. Let me know what the problem is, what you would like to improve on. And remember, it's not even necessarily a problem. So I actually retract that statement. But what are the areas that you're wanting to tweak or that you're wanting to hone in on and improve so you could be your absolute best, so that you could represent your company or your service or your product well. So I want to hear from you, so make sure you reach out to me. I'm going to leave that information in the comment section of this thread to this video once we end, and then that way you can get in touch with me, and I look forward to connecting with you further individually. It's been a real pleasure being here with you. Thank you so much for joining me, and remember, if you just hopped on, catch that replay, and if you found value, do me a huge favor. Would you be willing to share this for me? I really want to to seeing as many people as possible. Thank you so much again for joining, and until next time.